and welcome to my channel. Yes, I'm back and I have a new video for today. If you're new here, I'm a second year med student and I enjoy making videos about anything related to being a med student and my other hobbies as well. Are you preparing and thinking about taking the NMAT? Well, this video is for you. A lot of you have been requesting an NMAT journey along with a few tips since the NMAT is approaching. In this video, I'll be talking about what I went through while taking the NMAT, and let's compare my experience and the experience of my friend who also took the NMAT but during the online setup this year. Disclaimer, this is from my personal experience and please do not expect that I am that stellar student who got a score of 99 because in this video, I will let you see the reality and a point of view of an average student. Okay? I'll share what I did to somehow gain a good enough score wherein I still had the opportunity to choose the med school that was appealing for me. So if you're interested, then please keep on watching. So first, we'll be talking briefly about my NMAT journey. So I took the board exam in medical technology last September 2018. And the next NMAT schedule at that time was October 2018. So I really had no idea how the NMAT worked because I was still unsure if I was going to enter med school. So after that, I decided on what school I was going to aim for. So nakapag-decide ako, nasa Manila ako mag-med school. After that, after the boards, I took the risk, barely prepared, and took the NMAT that was scheduled in October kasi inisip ko, malapit na birthday ko nun.
So sabi ko, baka siswertehin ako.
So what I did, I printed those sample exams given by the CEM or the Center for Educational Measurement, and those were what I solely studied without researching. So to be honest, I really didn't know where to start. And when the exam was near, sinabi ko na lang talaga sa sarili ko, bahala na. And I accepted the fact already that if ever, I will just use my stock knowledge.
So what was I thinking?
And I thought it was just simply general knowledge since I came from a science-related course, diba, medical technology. So I took it in Cagayan de Oro at Xavier University. In my experience, I never thought that it would be that hard. Kasi it was not just in the content itself, but I was really time pressured. So yun talaga, yung time talagang kalaban ko sa NMAT. So in short, I didn't make it and my scores were low. Hindi yung sa ini-expect ko. And kasalanan ko din kasi di din ako talaga nag-research and I was really not prepared. And with that, I didn't beat myself up kasi kasalanan ko din naman bakit hindi ako nag-aral talaga ng maayos and hindi ako nag-research. But I bounced back and applied for the March 2019 NMAT. I promised myself to be ready for it, and with that, I felt like I needed the techniques and study patterns required in order to get a good enough score for my NMAT result. It was also hard for me to focus kasi nasa bahay lang ako. So I enrolled into a review center in Manila. Nag-travel ako, nagstay ako sa auntie ko. So it was a 14-day review course, and I think those moments were really a hard time for me. Kasi hindi lang sa dahilan na lost ako sa future ko, but then also, I was sick during those days. As in, no 14 days, like after tapos yung review, dun pa ako gumaling. Also, my review center was far away from my aunt's house. So, I need to commute via two transportation. So, nag-jeepney ako, tas nag-tricycle pa to get there. And with that short amount of time, I was also multitasking kasi apply to different med schools. So, sinasacrifice ko yung isang class para makapagpunta dun sa isang med school, including UERM, and para sulit yung trip ko din sa Manila, para hindi na din pabalik-balik. So, pinlano ko talaga lahat para matapos ko yung application ko and yung review ko. And then after that, I still kept pushing myself to study kasi may 1 month pa akong natitira. So, I reviewed January, and then after that, sa February, nag-aral na talaga ako, nag-self-review. I still had a lot of doubts like if kakayanan ko pa ba kasi nag-second take ako and bagong environment na naman. After the review sessions, ginawa ko na din yung research ko. Actually, ginawa ko na yung research ko before and after the review. So, I watched vlogs, blogs, saw tips kahit sa Twitter, and downloaded shared reviewers online. online. Lahat ng mga tips kinukuha ko. I studied for it para sure na sure talaga na makapasok ako sa med school na ini-aim ko. And then luckily, I was accepted to the med school that I had applied for. So ayun, advice ko lang talaga sa inyo na wag i-take for granted ang NMAT and be prepared for it kasi time pressured siya and para marami kang options and backup na. Now, let's talk about the difference between the NMAT pre-pandemic, which is my experience, and the NMAT online experience. So I'll be sharing with you the experience of my friend who also took the NMAT online. So first muna, yung pre-pandemic NMAT. The NMAT application will always open mga 2 to 3 months prior to the exam. So, you have to go to their website. It's www.cem-inc.org.ph. Ayan, ipapakita ko sa inyo. And ilalagay ko din sa description box below yung link para diretso na kayo doon. So, with that, pagpupunta ka sa website nila, may registration form. Mag-click ka doon and be ready for your picture. 2x2 siya. And your valid ID, your email address, and payment of around, I think, 1,500 pesos. So, I paid it via over-the-counter sa bank. And then, downloaded that registration form and then printed it. And then I was just waiting sa confirmation para sa test permit. And then andun din kung saang testing site yung pipiliin mo. And then after that, you have to bring 2 forms, yung testing permit and yung registration form. The testing site, usually 2 to 3 testing sites sa Philippines, 1 each sa Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So kaya ayun, sa Mindanao, Cagayan de Oro City ako. And then whole day yung exam. So may part 1 and may part 2. So yung part 1 consists of verbal, inductive reasoning, quantitative, and perceptual acuity. Then, sa hapon, ang magiging test nun, 4 din. So, biology, physics, social science, and chemistry. And then, if andun ka na sa testing site, whole day yung exam, so you have to eat well before taking the exam. And then, there should be no gadgets, even smart watches, wala yun. And, hindi pwedeng iiwan mo dun sa proctor, but dapat talaga may companion ka na magbabantay sa gadget mo or sa bag mo. Wala talagang dapat dadalhin na gadget or bag dun sa testing room. So with that, yung iba, tinatago na lang nila sa sulok-sulok. May secret place na lang sila dun sa school na yun. In my experience, mabuti nga at may companion ako dun. And then, we just agreed on what time kami magkikita and saan. So I really felt better kasi hindi ako sanay na walang dala. Dala ko lang yung plastic envelope ko na clear. And then, I was holding the water. Inside that clear plastic envelope, ang meron lang doon is my validated ID, yung test permit, yung registration form, yung pencil, sharpener, eraser, and ballpen. So, before we go in, kinakapa kami to make sure, lahat ng pockets, to make sure na wala talaga kaming cheating code. And ayun yung protocols nila pre-pandemic. But now, during the online one, I checked it out and andun lahat talaga sa website kung ano talaga dapat yung malaman sa online NMAT. And I gave my friend some questions about her experience during the online NMAT. Medyo shy siya, but I'm so happy that she answered my question. So, for the first question, what was the difference between the NMAT pre-pandemic versus during the pandemic? So, she said, when the pandemic started, they had to do NMAT online. This meant you needed a laptop or PC and a good internet connection. Now, you could take your NMAT at home. They have certain guidelines to follow as well, compared to the NMAT pre-pandemic where the exam was whole day. Yun yung sinabi ko. So, NMAT can now be taken in just 4 hours. Ayun siya. Kasi 10 minutes lang daw yung break nila. And second question, what were the key points you focused on the recent NMAT? So she said, since it was my second time to take the NMAT last August, I focused on the areas where I had low marks during my first take. There were verbal, inductive reasoning, and quantitative physics. So for the third question, what adjustments did you make for the recent NMAT? So she said, I made sure to practice and understand the concepts more. So same advice ko din sa inyo na you make your research kung paano nila study yung NMAT. And also, don't forget to print yung sample copy nila sa website. Sobrang helpful din yun on what to target for. Kasi para sa akin, you have to study smart kasi time pressured siya. So for the fourth question, what adjustments did you make during the NMAT pre-pandemic? So she said, well, I didn't review as much during my first take, so I didn't get a good score. So pares din kami na yung first take namin, hindi masyado kasi hindi namin alam talaga kung anong mangyayari. And wala talagang nag-guide sa amin kung paano talaga yung NMAT. So next question, what is your opinion on self-studying techniques for the NMAT? So she said, if you are disciplined enough, then I don't see anything wrong with self-studying. So, yung sa akin, nag-review ako kasi wala talaga akong discipline at that time kasi nasa bahay lang ako and then nahihirapan ako mag-aral. Sanay kasi ako na I'm far away from my home and dun talaga ako nakaka-focus kasi dito, nahihirapan ako kasi nag-a-adjust pa ako. And then next question, in your opinion, what is the best way to prepare for the NMAT? So she said, you really have to put in the time and your effort, especially if you are aiming for a good percentage. So, nagmamatter talaga sa mga schools kung ano talaga NMAT. Basta as long as andun ka sa cut-off score nila, as in goods ka na talaga, may chance ka talaga na makakapasok ka sa med school na ina-aim mo. The next question, do you have preferences in terms of college courses that can help prepare a student for the NMAT? So, those with backgrounds in biology, chemistry, and physics definitely have an edge. But you can have a non-traditional pre-med and still do a very good in NMAT. So, ito, take ko din. Akala talaga namin na kahit medtech ka, kayang-kaya mo yung NMAT. Medyo disadvantage siya kasi sobrang general talaga ang meron dun sa NMAT. Unless very matalino ka talaga. Mas advantageous sa mga students who took that course in college. So, example, mga biology students, chemistry, and physics students. Lalo na physics, ang daming nahihirapan sa physics. So, for the last question, what NMAT did you encounter as difficult, easy, and should be prioritized? So she said physics was still hard. And a number of people say you should aim for high scores for physics or quantitative since not a lot of people do good there. And since NMAT is percentile ranking, those scores can definitely pull your percentage up. I think you should prioritize the subjects you aren't good at, but also remember to put the time and effort on the subjects you feel confident in. And another tip I received was to study smart. So, sabi ko sa inyo na you have to study smart for NMAT kasi time pressured siya. So, those were all the questions that I've asked a friend ko and I hope it gave you an overview for it. And I will put in the description box the handouts na nagamit ko and what I've studied and the link for the NMAT application. So, to end this video, my advice is just to do your best and I'm hoping to see you reach for your medical school dream. So, yes, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. I will try my best to respond. Mag-reply ako sa inyo kasi alam kong mahirap kung walang nag-guide sa inyo about it. Thank you so much. I hope it helps. And I'll see you guys soon in my next video. Laban mga doc. Stay safe. Bye!